The last year and a half has been, and I have been healthy and I've had a steady income, and even then there has been no semblance of stability or room for anything but holding the foundations of my life together. In March of last year I went to St. Louis and I resisted building a sustainable routine there for a long time because I didn't know how long this COVID thing was going to last and I was going to be there. And then sometime in the spring my parents moved and I was still in St. Louis, so I moved with them and my routine changed. And in September I got a new job and came back to New York, and then in December my roommate moved out, and in January a new roommate moved in, and in February I adopted 2 rabbits, and in May I stopped taking my Lexapro. And all of these things on their own are perfectly fine. Such is life, such is progress. I'm still, for the most part, happy and healthy, great. But put together, what it meant was every time I started to establish a new routine, my life would change. And I thrive on routine. It helps me get into a rhythm and a flow, without which it's really hard for me to get all the things I need and want to get done. And since I haven't had that, I haven't been nearly as productive in the last year and a half as I usually am, which has required some balancing of pushing myself to do things when I don't feel like it because I don't want to let the people around me down, and learning that my productivity is not tied to my actual worth as a human being, which I do believe. But at the same time, the world is beautiful and I only have one life, and the world is unjust, and I have a lot of privilege, and the world has so many opportunities, and I have so much potential. So I do want to see and do as much as I can and help out wherever I can and eat as much of the world as I can. Thus, it is nice to be back into a settled routine and not feel like that Wallace and Gromit meme or Legolas in whichever Hobbit movie it was, I didn't see any of them. To feel like I'm back in a space for growth, to want to do more than sleep, mostly. To actually be working on things. Oof, I love working. This is the problem. How are you supposed to not tie productivity to your self-worth when you genuinely love to work? But I'm glad to be in a space to be thinking about those things again, because it's been a long time. A week or 2 ago, I found myself thinking I've been really stagnant lately, and then I remembered, and I've mentioned this in a video before, that I used to feel stagnant every 3 months. It was a signal to me that it was a time to make a change, and the reason that I haven't felt that way lately is because I've just been struggling to stay afloat. So it's good to feel that way again, and frustrating as it is, I'm learning to have some patience with myself if the last year and a half have not been the most ideal circumstances for growth, and trying not to have a feeling of making up for lost time, because what does that even mean? So that's all.